So the user story of this demonstration is the handling of external users, external consultants like the one we have highlighted here. They should have a unique ID starting with the letters EX minus and then the first 3 letters of their last name, followed by the first 2 letters of their first name. And of course the display name should be generated from last name and first name. And the customer wants to have a UI to create these external consultants directly in IDM. I've prepared a stub for that you can see here. We'll just quickly create a new external user and see how that looks like in the result list. As you can see, the external user is already created from the UI stub, but the unique ID and the display name do not match the requirements of the customer yet, and that's what we are going to change in IDMacs. In the Identity Center design time, I have prepared an add computed fields to generic pass underneath the create external user UI task, and I'm passing Emacs first name and Emacs last name into a script add computed fields. Okay, let's take care of computing the MS key value according to the customer's requirements first. I'm going to extract Emacs first name and Emacs last name from the hash table that is passed into this function. As you can see, it is sufficient to type the first few letters of the attribute name and then press Ctrl Enter, which will give me auto-completion for the attribute names. I'll also add the required prefix, but we'll take care of using the correct format and also the substring logic later on. The next step is to verify that our computed MS key value is actually unique. To this end, I'll perform a database query using the built-in function uSelect. Again, I can use auto-completion to select the correct function name. And then I can continue typing my select statement. In the middle of a string, I can just press enter and it will turn my single line string into a multi-line concatenated string like in Eclipse. And when it comes to specifying the view name in my from clause, I can again use auto-completion to select from any of the IDM view names. So the auto-completion works anywhere, also inside a string. While I'm completing this query, you may notice that my line comment above is not properly indented yet. And in order to fix that, I can just press Shift F1 to correct the indentation of the complete file. So Shift F1 for the ABAP Workbench users amongst you. This will probably be a familiar key combination. And I'll demonstrate that functionality a little bit more while I'm typing in the error handling and result handling for the query. As you can guess, if the MS key value is already taken, I will need to try with a different MS key value, and the approach that I'm coming up with is to add a numeric suffix to the base MS key value that we actually started from. And since that suffix might also be already taken on the database, I'm just wrapping my complete logic into a for loop, which will of course mess up all of my indentation, but I can just press Shift F1 and it will correct everything. You may have noticed that while I'm typing, Emacs is constantly underlining the code that I'm typing in. Most of the times the underlining disappears when I've completed the statement, but here in this attempt to add the numeric suffix to MS-key value in the error case, the underlining doesn't go away, and as you can see in the message area, that's an error of mine. I redeclared a local variable that I already declared before, so Emacs is really performing some very basic static JavaScript syntax check on the fly as you type. Let's write the MS-key value to the database. As you can see here, I can also use code completion inside the parameter list. You can step through the parameters of a function using the tab key. Let's proceed to the display name, whose value I haven't computed yet so far, but since time is running out, I'll make it short and go to UIS set value immediately, and then when it comes to the value of the attribute, I'll be using two new local variables for last name and first name, which I haven't declared yet, which means it will give me syntax errors. In this situation, it's very useful to use the key combination Ctrl F2, which is bound to the function next error, to step through all the syntax errors that you currently have in your script, if any, and see a short explanation message about each in the Emacs message area. I'll fix these syntax errors now by adding the missing declarations for first name and last name. I can use cut and paste, which is, by the way, using so-called CUA mode in Emacs. In other words, copy and paste just work as you are used to it from every Windows application, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-X, Ctrl-V. And now I can use these new local variables also in the computation of the MS-key value and also apply them in the correct order. Previously I had the incorrect order for the first name and last name parts. And now add the extraction of the required number of characters and the uppercasing. I'll perform a final syntax check again using Ctrl F2. As you can see in the message area, there are no errors, so we can go ahead and save and quit the editor, which is bound to the key combination Ctrl F3. Let's wrap it all up by testing our implementation. First press apply in the management console and then go back to the user interface, start the create external user UI and hire Mario Götze again. Let's have a look at the result. There is our new entry with MS-key value correctly created and display name correctly created. Perfect. Thanks so much for watching the demonstration, and if you liked what you see, be sure to try it out yourself and visit idmacs.org. Thanks and